So what are you thinking about working on today?
So I am at a point in my business. I'm a healer as well, and I'm at a point in my business when I am being called or pulled to bring in a few new things that are very scary to me. Um,
New things as in new techniques or
One
like,
of them is a new technique, and the other one is facilitating more like private retreats and experiences with people. Um, and I have been so hesitant to doing both. And I finally just like pushed through and got the private retreats thing out. But there was so much fear in it with it.
okay.
Um, and then I'm also working with the plant medicine of cacao right now. And on the verge of offering one-on-one cacao sessions with people, ceremonies actually. But I haven't announced that yet either. And I just feel like everything in astrology and everything is telling me I'm on this big verge of expansion. And I think that's making me a little nervous, which is making it harder to do things.
Mm.
So I'm honestly like really open to any guidance or direction or anything. I really don't have. I've been trying to figure out a specific thing, but I can't figure it out. All I know is every time after I speak to you, Mary Lee, like amazing things happen for me and it propels me forward so much. So I was nervous for today, but also now I'm ready.
Turn that into excitement, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sure how we're going to handle this. So yeah, I know I love it when it's just kind of open like this.
Mhm.
Um, So, what would be a really wonderful takeaway? So, like, we know kind of what the agitation is, or the anxiety, or the fear, or all of that. What would be a really wonderful thing to take away?
Hmm. Honestly, if there is anything that would help me like step into or expand, or I think articulate is the right word, my power and my gifts, I think that's that would be ideal. That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay. And so, by gifts, can you elaborate on what you think they are, what you think is missing or not quite there, not quite shining the right way or something?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think there's something that's not shining the right way. But it's gotten to a place where with my healing sessions, I mean, there's big impacts and everything happening for other people, but I'm kind of in this like I'm booked out, I've reached capacity, and I'm being called to expand more. And I have no idea how to do that with my current abilities. Also, in this time of COVID, I've become the sole provider for our family, which is good, but comes with a lot of heaviness there. So, if there's any way to go about it in a way that doesn't feel so burdensome to me, but feels lighter because I'm just exhausted as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Do you want to lay down or are you going to sit up for your session?
I'll sit up if that's okay. Yeah.
That's okay. You see
Okay.
it nicely this way. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. And just go deep inside of you. I know you meditate and know how to do that. And as you go in, giving yourself permission for this next little bit of time to really focus on you and your goals, just grounding your energy, feeling yourself just kind of sinking into your body and into the chair or wherever you're sitting. And imagine for a moment that you have a ball of light at your feet, glistening and shining and radiating. And as it begins to move up along your body, It gathers up the perceptions and the sensations, leaving behind a completely relaxed body as it moves up across your legs and your lap, and now coming up along your torso, opening your chakras, balancing your energies. That ball of light moving up across your throat now, and right up into the center of your forehead, into the area of the third eye. The third eye energizing and expanding, opening the channel between your conscious and your subconscious mind. The energy flowing, making it easier to share information, to receive those downloads. And as you continue to relax deeper and deeper, the third eye continuing to expand, I invite you to imagine being in your favorite safe space, that place of relaxation, protection, and connection. And as you find yourself in your safe space today, how would you describe that location to me?
It's interesting. The space itself is actually an ocean.
Okay, cool.
Little unexpected.
Okay. Yeah. And so describe to me the ocean, where you are in relationship to it. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm in, not so the water is up to my waist, but just so that it's kind of just above my knees. Water's kind of glistening, and I'm just standing in it. There's not a lot of really intense waves where I am, but I can just feel kind of the swirling all around me.
Uh-huh.
And the water is warm, which is nice. And it's sunny, and it's in the daytime for sure.
Okay. And so as you look around, right around you, you realize that there is a gift that has been left there for you, a gift of empowerment to bring you certain traits and characteristics that will be so valuable for you today. And as you discover this gift, what is it?
It's like a yellow surfboard.
Okay.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Okay. And so when you take this surfboard into your hands or you're holding it, what energy, what happens to you?
It's really only pointed like in one direction, and it's out to the sea. So it's not like I even have the decision to pick it up and take it back to land. There's no,
Yeah.
it's not even a choice. Like I'm supposed to get on it and paddle out.
Okay. And how do you feel about that?
Nervous, but also kind of like powerful and energized at the same time.
Okay. So would you like to do that? Get on it and paddle?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. So you get on and you start paddling, and tell me a story about this. Just allow this to become like you're moving through a movie that you've never seen before, and you're just doing this. And so what happens next? You're paddling.
It's weird because normally, I mean, I've surfed before, and normally when I do, you have to get past the big waves to get out to the smoother stuff. Um, but there's none of those. It's all just kind of smooth. And I can feel like my shoulders kind of hurting as I paddle out, not hurting, but just kind of like aching with the soreness a little bit. But everything's smooth around me, and it's kind of just like you disappear. There's just horizon. There's nothing else out there. No other boats, nothing else is out there really.
Okay. And what happens next?
Um, I feel like I don't really know where I'm going to, so I realize I can actually stop paddling. I don't have to just keep going so hard. It's okay for me to like stop and sit up on the board and kind of just like let my legs be in there. So I'm just kind of hanging out.
Okay.
And there's kind of like green lights in the water, kind of just coming to me from above. Uh,
The source of the light is from above you, but it reflects in the water, or is
it's
where?
from below me coming up,
Oh, it's coming
touch
up.
my
Okay.
legs.
That makes more
Yeah.
sense. Okay. So the green light
Um,
is in the water and it's coming up at you.
yeah.
Okay.
But that's really all. Like I'm just sitting there with green
Uh,
light up my legs.
Okay. All right. And so some time passes and what happens?
I kind of like fall asleep on the board,
Okay.
which I'm fine with for some reason and not freaked out about at all.
Okay.
Um, it's almost like I wake up in a different ocean.
Okay.
And this time there's a current, like there's a pull. Um, I'm not really sure. It's like off to my right and diagonal. And
Okay.
it's weird because I'm in the middle of the ocean, so there shouldn't be waves out there, but it's like pulling me to the
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what happens?
Well, I go that way. And yeah, there's like a shore, but it's with there's like palm trees. They almost look like cartoon palm trees though, like really with the coconuts and everything in them on that shore.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's weird. I kind of just drift there. I don't really like stand up and surf it at all. I just like drift there and arrive at the shore and just kind of stand up and get out of the water and like put my board in the sand.
And then what happens?
Uh, and then it's just I feel I'm like suddenly aware of how salty, after you come out of the ocean, how like dry and salty you are. So just like kind of trying to find some cool water to kind of pour over me. And I have no idea what I'm doing in this place. Like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't really see anybody else right now.
Uh-huh.
But this place has like mountains too. And for some reason now it's like time to go through the jungle to the mountains. Um, yeah. And the jungle is kind of like refreshing. It's almost like a rainforest in a way, where it's like had just freshly rained. So everything's wet but not muddy, just like shiny green leaves.
And then what happens?
And then inside the mountain, there's some sort of like circle. I don't know. It's like glowing orange. I don't know if there's fire in there or what. Um, but then there's a blue one to the right too. It's like a circle and it's glowing blue.
So it's like a vertical circle or a circle on the ground or?
It's like on the face of the mountain. I don't know if it's a cave or what it is, but it's like that image of a cave with something inside glowing out.
Okay.
And I don't go inside either one. um, it's like there's like a chair built into the mountain or like a perch. I just go and I sit on that. Um, Then it just seems like all these butterflies just like explode out of the jungle. Then I'm not really sure what happens after that.
Okay. So there's no more to your story?
I think the only other thing is like curling up and falling asleep with like purple sky and stars above me.
And do you dream, or is that the end?
There's no dreams. Mm-mm.
Okay. Anything else happen?
I don't think so.
Okay. So if this story had to do with your goals for our session today, the expanding your business and not feeling so exhausted and heavy, and articulating your powers and gifts, what would it mean that you have a yellow surfboard?
I know yellow is the color of my solar plexus chakra, which is like power.
Mm-hmm.
So that having like my power carrying me somewhere, but also the fact that I could like sleep on it and rest on it instead of having to paddle the whole time, maybe just like resting in my power instead of this feeling of striving, I think.
Yeah. And it was only going in one direction.
Yeah, there were no no other options. Yeah.
So what do you know about that? What was and stay in trance.
Okay. Okay.
We're just gonna, we're just going to, understand the images a little deeper, but I want you to stay in there. So yeah, what do you think that one direction meant? Or,
It's like clear where I need to go. I know
okay.
that 100%.
Uh-huh. And the direction was out to the deep ocean. It wasn't back to shore. And
No.
what are you learning from that?
Mhm. No, it was almost like away from people and alone is
Uh,
what it felt like, but in a good way.
a solo journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, kind of marking your own, like going your own way, not in the herd, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Okay. And then you were nervous but empowered, and it was smooth. You didn't have to jump any of those first waves, right? You could just
Yeah.
smoothly going out there. And what do you think that means in relationship to your business and your expansion?
I think in my head, I'm trying to like make up all these obstacles that will come up, but maybe it will be smoother than I think it is. And those obstacles are probably coming from um, obstacles of the past that have come up for me um, in previous work. But if I look at this healing work and everything, it's literally just been smooth the whole time.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's been hard and like courageous at points, but it hasn't really been like I have to fight against it or anything.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But your arms were aching.
Yeah. My shoulders were.
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
In my work, shoulders represent burdens. Um, so I don't know, trying to swim through my burdens or something, or trying to move faster. That's probably trying to move faster than the way I actually have to go.
Mm-hmm. And you did talk about earlier on, you talked about being the sole provider was heavy.
Yeah, that could be a big piece of it. Yeah.
Okay. And then you got out to where it was only horizon. There was just nothing out there with you. Does that have significance for you?
The only thing it reminds me of is there was a point when I was on vacation in Hawaii a long, long time ago. I think I was in college still. And I just like remember sitting on a rock and just looking out into the ocean. And I just felt like a weird sense of knowing and a weird like call. Um, and it's like I don't know, a bunch of weird stuff happened after that. Like I knew I wasn't going to be back home in the summer, and I was okay with that. And I knew, like, before my parents even thought of moving or anything like that, and we lived in the house for I think like 18, 19 years at that point. No, 20. I just knew I wasn't going to see the house again, and I had to go somewhere else. It was like an initiation. It was really weird.
Mm.
But after that is when I got an internship in South Africa, and it was like it made sense. I don't know.
Wow.
Very weird. So I
Yeah.
have no idea what this horizon is, but it just reminded me of that.
Yeah. So from that perspective, if you can just really relax into being on the surfboard in the water and looking at the horizon, is there any kind of message that comes to you just from that tranquility?
Well, it's definitely not calling me back somewhere I know. It's definitely calling me somewhere new. Um, yeah, but it's like it's you don't even need to worry about it. It's all gonna fall into place anyways.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you didn't know where you were going, and so you weren't going to paddle so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, why are you paddling so hard? You can just sit here. So it was like, I don't know, I have this moment of rest in between. There's lots of rest throughout this whole thing, which is not like me. Um,
Like,
so
it's not like you.
yeah, rest is not like me. I don't
Mhm.
rest very well.
So,
So
do you think that it's saying that you can rest or you should rest, or that even in motion you're resting, or like what kind of message?
I think that last one, like you said, even in motion, like being able to rest. Because it
Okay.
was like I could paddle if I wanted, or I could just let it carry me.
Ah,
So, and it
that.
wasn't going to make me get there any faster if I was paddling.
Uh-huh. So how
Uh,
could you translate that into what you're doing with your business? Like, how could you carry that message?
I think maybe I'm putting like a lens on it that I have to work hard and it all has to come from me
Mhm.
instead of just going with the flow and letting it like write itself. Um,
So what would you do differently if you were going to just let it flow and not paddle or resist?
I probably wouldn't plan things out. So I just like wake up in the day and be like, okay, I'm showing up for it. You want to carry me somewhere, or are you just gonna chill today? No plan.
How
Um,
would that feel if you did that?
oh, really good. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, just absorb that really good feeling for a minute, that's going to be something that you could do in your daily work and feel like that. And then when you were resting like that and not paddling and just letting it carry you, then the green lights showed up around you in the water. And what significance does that have? And how does that factor into your career?
Green is interesting. Green is Well, it's like heart chakra, I know. But it's also, I feel like something to do with money as well and abundance. So it's weird that when I'm resting is when the abundance came in. Because I've been taught my whole life that you have to work really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't get abundance from rest. No. That
Right.
doesn't, yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So just elaborate on that a little more. Let's just really look at that. So here's the green lights. They're coming from below. It's not coming from above or anywhere else. It's coming from below. Why do you think that is? What's providing that?
I think I spend a lot of my time in the like above realm, with the sky and the universe and like downloads from above. I
Right.
don't spend as much time below, like receiving support on the ground. It seems like all my support comes from up here.
Uh-huh.
I don't take the time to like receive the abundance from this area. So
Hmm.
it's like coming from foundations that are there or the earth, or I don't know.
What did the ocean represent? We didn't really talk about that. Like, what
Yeah.
is that altogether?
I don't know if it's change. Um, it's definitely like it's a carrier. Like it
Hmm.
carries you to places, it links you to things. Maybe it's connector.
Connector.
Um,
It seems vast. It wasn't a pond, it was an ocean.
true.
Vast. It's deep, it seems.
Hmm. There's definitely like energy in it with the waves and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. I don't know. I've always just like the ocean has always been something for me that's been really special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I always say I feel more grounded when I'm like in water than I would with my feet on the dirt.
Uh-huh.
Water is grounding to me for some reason. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So so then if we put the ocean and all of that gestalt together with the green lights, like, does that make any sense now, like where that's coming from or how it's generated? Or just any other clues?
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't feel like anyone was sending it. And I didn't feel like it was coming from like a hard, sturdy spot. It just
Mhm.
maybe like the abundance comes from resting in the flow or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm just going to throw this out there, but could it have been that the green light was there in other places, but you were paddling too hard to see it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I was
might
like,
be
just
my own
stop.
hallucination. Just throw it out there.
Yeah.
So it could be that as well, huh? That
Yeah.
once you settle down, you could actually look, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
very true. Yeah. Look at all the abundance that's there, or give abundance a chance to catch up instead of trying to chase me. Yeah.
There's a concept, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, because it was shining up at you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you fell asleep and that was somehow okay. And you woke up in a different ocean with a current. So what is falling asleep? What?
Um, I think that's like fully surrendering
Ah,
because and also resting. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, trusting as well. Like you wouldn't want to fall asleep in the middle of an ocean on a board if you thought there were sharks or something out there that was going to come and get you.
Yeah.
or it would get crazy. You would have to be totally like at peace and trust,
Yeah.
or just really, really tired. But I felt more like at peace and trusting.
Okay. Good. So when you were at peace and trusting and sleeping on this board, you woke up and you were in an ocean that had a current.
Mhm.
Okay. So what do you think that means?
It just felt like it's go time. Like, okay, this is why I did this.
Right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
then my head's like kind of yelling at me.
Oh, what's
Because
happening?
it's like, once again, you think the doing or the motion is the whole reason for everything.
Right.
Like maybe the abundance was the actual reason. So
Ah,
it's just messing with me. But I'm comfortable in the pull and the doing, and it
oh,
makes me excited.
okay. And so the pull was to the right at a diagonal. Um, any idea what that means? That it was taking you over there?
Hmm. I don't really know, unless it's like, I don't think it feels right. Maybe it has something to do with, I know right side is masculine side, which is like the doing and the hard work and the success, but I don't know if it has to do with that or not. Right. I have no idea on
Okay.
that one.
Well, we can let that unfold for you over time.
Mhm.
And then you went to the shore. It seemed like it was pretty quickly. And there were palm trees that were a little bit cartoonish with coconuts.
Mhm.
Um, and you drifted right there and you arrived. And so, what does that part of the story mean to you?
Um, well, it's interesting, the like cartoon palm trees and all of it is like, maybe like this doesn't seem real, like too good to be true type of thing or something. Like, what even is this place? Um, yeah, and it's like as soon as I arrived, I was looking for something to do. Like, why am I here? Is there a person here to greet me? Like, what's going on?
Uh-huh.
um,
So, what does that tell you about yourself?
Always looking for something to do. Yeah, or someone to help, or I don't know. Yeah, something to do.
Okay. Um, and so I don't know, is there anything about that that needs to be looked at, that there's always, that you're always just looking for something to do?
Maybe all I need to do is show up, and that's it.
Okay. All right. So, so you get out of the water and you're dry and salty. So, I mean, obviously that would be, expected, but what does it mean in this story since it was something that was brought to your attention?
I realized, like, picking out for the first time, focusing on myself and something I needed, maybe.
Interesting. How did that feel?
It felt good. Yeah.
Good. And so you were going to look for cool water, probably fresh water. Not.
Mhm.
Did you ever find any?
Um, no, it's like it just came over me. I didn't really have to go to a place or like dump anything over my head. It just happened.
You were cleansed of the salt and
Yeah,
the.
I just felt it. It's like I felt it, but I have no clue where it came from.
Okay, so yeah, so you moved through that need and were satisfied, huh?
Mhm.
And so then you said, I have no idea why I'm here or what I'm supposed to do. How does that relate to your career? And this could be in the future still, but how might that be instructional now for that future part of your business?
Maybe that you don't have to know what you're supposed to do or the outcome of it before you do it, before you show up. You just kind of show up and see what happens for there, and you don't from there, and you don't need to know it along the way either.
Okay. All right. And so then you noticed that there was a mountain and you had to go through the jungle to get there.
Mhm.
And so, we'll take the jungle first. So the jungle was a rainforest and it was fresh. There were shiny green leaves. What is that in your life? What is the jungle?
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know if it's just like exploring and like representing like the wild or something. It didn't feel like an obstacle really. Uh,
What did it feel like?
Kind of just like a refreshing place to be, really.
Okay.
And like I think I had this expectation that once I got to the mountain, there's going to be something there for me that I have to do. So I'm just going to enjoy this like jungle time a little bit.
Yeah. Jungles are very, I mean, everything grows fast and luscious and, you know, so that's, I
Yeah.
don't know how that might relate to your future business, being in the jungle.
Yeah. It really feels like I'm there now too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you said you thought you should just enjoy the jungle, huh?
Yeah.
So how could you enjoy this period in your life that feels like a jungle?
Maybe just being an explorer and just wandering through it instead of having to like get to the next place super quickly or with precision. Just kind of like feeling the leaves and everything along the way. Just like allowing it to refresh me too, I think, because the jungle felt very refreshing.
Yeah. So if you apply that, I mean, I guess you're applying that now to your business, like you could have that attitude as you're working your way through this lush period.
Yeah, allow it to refresh me instead of being an obstacle or anything like that.
Yeah, nice. Um, and then you went to the mountain, and did you have to climb it, or did you just go and look at the side of it?
I kind of climbed it. Well, I looked at the side first before I like climbed up onto that perch spot.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then, but you saw this orange glow, this circle, and then a green one, I think you said green
Yeah, blue one, I
or
think.
blue.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if you said blue
Yeah.
or green. Okay, so what are those representing in your life?
Um, the orange glow felt like fire in a way, and like there would be people in that one, like that were waiting for me or something. Um, and the blue one just felt like that opportunity to go like deeper into my knowing, or maybe like my guides or something were waiting in that one. And they both just seemed like a lot of work.
Okay.
um, and by that point I was just tired. It's like I could go to them whenever I needed to. It wasn't like you have to come here right now or like save me. It felt like the orange one might have been that way, but
Like
realistically
people that needed you to do something for them to save them?
Yeah, and they thought it was so urgent and everything, but realistically, it's okay for me to like wait and rest
Good,
first. Yeah,
good. Do you have normally an impulse to go rescue people that say they need you?
I used to. But I've learned now, like when you get those emails like, "Oh my gosh, can you do an emergency session on me?" or blah blah blah, always give it 24 hours.
Good.
Because sometimes they figure it out themselves.
Take responsibility for their own lives.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
So the orange one was more like people with urgency that wanted you to do something for them. And the blue was more of a just go deep on your own.
hmm But
Okay.
that also seems exhausting sometimes.
Uh-huh.
um,
And what,
Sometimes, like knowing all the gifts you hold or things you need to do, it just feels like so many responsibilities. Like with more knowing comes more responsibility.
true,
It was
true.
like that will always be there for me, and I can go to it when I feel like I need to. Um, I just don't feel like it right now.
Right. You've been through quite a journey so far.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so then you sat on the chair. Um, and what was that experience like, and how does that fit into our journey or your career and your question?
I was like resting again, which is very unlike me. Normally, I'd probably go right to one of those caves. Uh, but it was like taking authority and like setting boundaries and being like, nope, I'm going to just sit here and kind of admire the view. I wasn't looking for anything, I was just being there.
Hmm. And how would you do that in your own life and career?
Um, Maybe just be wherever I am. So instead of looking for things or trying to make things happen or being super focused, just kind of like breathing and taking a moment to just breathe.
Yeah. So, looking at this whole story, what will be your takeaway as it relates to stepping in and articulating your power and your gifts, how to expand, and maybe not be so heavy and exhausted? What's your takeaway today? Oh, well, we
Oh,
forgot the butterfly. Go
I
ahead.
forget.
Answer that
Uh,
question. We're going to come back to the butterfly.
okay. Okay. I think it's that there's more rest involved. Like rest is an important part of it. Um, and then abundance doesn't have to come from the doing as well, but it's there. Uh, and nobody else has to really be involved. It was kind of just me. It was nice to be the only human being in my head for a minute.
Would that be something you could do in your meditation from time to time? Is just be the only human being in your head for a while?
Yeah, probably.
Hmm. Nice. So I'd kind of skipped, or at least I forgot because it was on the other side of my paper, that then while you were sitting there, the butterflies came in, they exploded out of the jungle. What does that mean?
That just felt like abundance and like some sort of weird sign that I did something right.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah.
Like getting a trophy or something, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of like the same way the green light came up and touched my legs.
Uh-huh.
It's like this is the thing that exploded out this time.
Yeah.
Like I did something by not doing anything.
Yeah. I was going to say it happened both times while you were resting and not doing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then you curled up and fell asleep under a purple sky. So, is there anything there that is related to our quest today?
just felt like everything was okay, and sparkly.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
Very nice. So did that answer your questions or give you some guidance for your questions today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to do? Because we could, do another little thing, but
Um,
or is
I
that
think my issue with the rest and everything is like right now, it's just like I feel like my guides are being so demanding. Like, do this, do that, da, 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 da. Like get this done fast. Like it's all urgent. Like that's not really, I don't feel like it's coming from me.
okay?
I feel like it's coming from them. So maybe if we could tell them to like chill out, that would be cool. I don't know.
Keep them on a leash.
Yeah.
So as you're sitting there, let's put you sitting there on that perch, that chair on the side of the mountain there. And as you're resting there and taking a break, your guide or guides come and join you there. And who do you see or what happens when they show up?
Definitely like kind of weird floating blue orbs.
Okay.
um, and it just feels like they're like they won't approach me all the way. They don't want to be like on the full same level as me for some reason. I don't think they're nervous. It's just like a weird courteous thing or something.
Okay.
Um,
So I want you to ask them, are you in fact my spirit guides?
ooh, yeah, and they say no, it kind of just like mist just blows them away.
See?
Yeah.
Be careful here. Okay. So I would like to ask Jessica's guides, the real guides, if she has any, to come forward. And what happens now?
Just this feeling of like support on all sides of me.
Okay. Any other description of that? Like if you feel into it a little further?
It's like sitting up straighter, I guess. Um, and like coming in more, just like anchoring in. Um, and yeah, they're surrounding me, but I don't feel trapped, if that
Oh,
makes sense.
okay. And I would like you to ask them, are you my real spirit guide or guides?
Yeah, and they say yes.
Okay. And ask them if they're the ones that have been demanding that you're so busy.
And they say no.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was was it the orb ones that were,
that was the orb ones. Yeah.
okay. So ask them, well, what would you like to ask them?
Hmm. I don't know if I have a specific question, just like anything they want to tell me.
Okay. So what would they like to say to you? What kind of wisdom can they offer or even elaborate on the journey you've been on?
Interesting. It feels like they took the forms of the green light and the butterflies
Ah,
times for the rest. When I was resting,
okay. And for what purpose?
I think it's like I was closer to them at that point. Like there was nothing I needed to do. Like the doing brings me further away from them.
Okay. Anything else they would like to share with you?
They just say, like, none of this has to be hard.
Anything else?
I think the only other piece there is I feel like unworthy, because I think everyone else's life and journey and purpose I've seen is just seems so hard. So why does mine get to be easy?
And so what do they tell you?
They're saying, like, you can't be unworthy if you created it because it came from you.
Ask them if the other people have the same opportunity to create that for themselves if they wanted it.
Yeah, and they say yes.
Okay. Is there any other factor that sets you apart from those who have created their lives to be harder?
I think they just say courage
Mm-hmm.
and being able to move without, like, knowing the destination.
Okay. And can they give you insights? Because it seems like you have an emotional connection to the fact that others are struggling harder. Can they give you more insights as to why that's happening and how you need to respond to that?
It's like other people think everything has been created for them and they're just supposed to, like, slide in and fit this role. Um,
So I don't think it really takes effort, that it should just be provided.
yeah, like everything's predetermined in a way. But then, yeah, they're also fighting against it at the same time. It's
Mm-hmm.
very interesting.
Mm-hmm. What else are they showing you?
It's just like a bunch of fire with nowhere to go.
For those who have a harder time, you mean?
Yeah.
What do your guides say would help them to get out of that fire or to change, to be able to manifest and create like you do?
It's just like falling backwards, kind of more into who they are. Honestly, if everybody just, like, paddled out into the middle of the deep ocean and took a surfboard nap, they'd all probably be better off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Anything else you want to ask them about or that they could share with you?
I don't think so.
Okay. And so anything else before we close for today?
I don't think so.
Okay, so remembering all that you've experienced in this session and allowing the subconscious mind to continue to bring you insight, wisdom, and understanding in the days and weeks to come. As I count from 1 to 5, returning here to the present moment, refreshed, alert, and aware. 1, 2, 3, coming up. 4, aware of this time and space. And 5, fully alert and aware and returned here to the present moment.
Okay, awesome.
That was fun.
That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like being able to travel when you can't because COVID.
We have a lot of places we can travel right here.
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly. And I love going on the journey too, because I get to go out in the ocean and see the palm trees and, I get to go fly with you. So, yeah. And what I think is really interesting is that you had been listening to these little things that weren't your guides and then taking it that way. There are entities or little bits of conscious energies that are very low level, but they're called whisperers and they are around all the time and they get fed by trying to like agitate or irritate people and so that the person is just exuding some energy, which might be also contributing to your exhaustion, right? So there's
Yeah.
anxiety and there's just like, oh, I'm not doing enough, da, 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 and all this stuff going on. And they're just like, sucking up the energy. And so they do that to make couples fight because then there's fireworks going off and they can eat the energy, or to lower people's self-esteem, or to get them to go back to drugs and alcohol, all these things. But that's interesting. So now you'll be able to stop and just go, wait a second, are you my guide? Right.
Mhm.
And then really tune back into your own guides where that message would be different.
Yeah, and saying whispers, that makes so much sense with how I saw it because they were very wispy. Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was, and then when they all dissipated, it was like someone just blew them away. Yeah,
Yeah. As soon as they were recognized. Yeah.
yeah,
Just like, it's not worth a fight to them because there's just there's a million other people that they can go harass and get energy from. So if they're recognized, it's like, okay, well, we're done here, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that they wouldn't come back or others wouldn't come back. I mean, it's sort of like mosquitoes, right?
Yeah.
You can swat some, but there might be some others. Um,
Mhm.
but now you can be more mindful of that possibility when you're
Mhm.
hearing that, you know, really,
Yeah.
really ask them, be very direct as to who's talking to me here. So,
Okay. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, any questions or comments about your journey or?
Oh man, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna have to like process it and really let it all click in.
Yeah.
Feel tired like after taking a long journey, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, yeah, go get a massage and hang out at the
Yeah.
pool. Um,
Yeah, it feels good that rest was a part of it though. That makes me, yeah,
That was a
feel
good
better.
message for you, I think. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing, and I really appreciate your help in this project.
Of course. Thank you so much, Mary Lou. That was awesome.